Hi everybody, Adrian Plass here once again.
Yeah, I'm Bridget. Hello.
36 days we've been doing this, and that means that probably the lockdown has been approximately 7 weeks.
Yeah.
And we are very aware, because we hear from friends and other people, all sorts of people, that, well, we used the phrase piddled off the other day. I think it's getting worse than that. I think some people are getting very fed up with it. So you are not alone in that. This is a long haul, and it
Yeah.
is difficult.
Yeah, it is, especially when there's nothing clear, nothing that we really know for sure about anything. And I think that's why we're certainly getting lots of little funnies coming through our phones, and we see them on television and all sorts of things. And what we're loving is we also get these wonderful little true stories. And I don't know if you remember, just very little while ago, we were telling you about somebody's dog who loves pears, and who we
Very
this
sensible dog.
yeah, well, this
Yeah.
dog would go to a small pear tree, very gently pick a pear off the tree, let it drop on the ground, and then eat it. Well, we have had sent to us a little film of somebody else's dog who not only likes pears but also likes blackberries. Very discerning dog, because in this film we can see it going up to the blackberries, missing all the prickles, missing all the ones that aren't ripe, and just oh so gently taking a beautiful ripe blackberry and clearly enjoying it very, very much, which was lovely to see.
I'll tell you what's fascinating about that. Going through my stock of rural sayings, I've been offering a couple every morning, as some people know. I found a couple specifically related to those two stories, which
Really?
I'll
That's
read to you.
amazing,
Here's the
Adrian.
first one. When blackberries get picked by dogs, east winds will bring a plague of frogs.
Oh, well, that's quite worrying.
Well, I find that very
Yeah.
well, yeah. So, and the other one is this one. This one's a little more hopeful, actually. If canine jaws are filled with pears, you'll meet two plumbers on the stairs. Now, you know how difficult it is to get a plumber. So, if you just get your dogs out, get the pears eaten, and you'll rush home, go and get on the stairs, and there will be two plumbers waiting to do some work for you. So, don't say we don't help.
Well, as you know, we've also been hearing from people about what they'd like, ideally, to have in heaven. And if you remember, this all triggered off with Adrian saying he definitely wanted cricket in heaven, and me thinking, well, I'm pretty sure I don't. And we decided there would be different corners for people to do different things. Well, we heard from somebody, and I think this has to getting to the end of the pears, who said they would like to be in charge of the pear harvest in heaven. And we also heard from somebody, and I'm going to read you what she wrote. In heaven for her, there will be no MS, and she will be able to ride a beautiful dapple grey horse bareback through fields of daisies and buttercups and feel wind in her hair, and she won't have to worry about anything at all ever again.
Yeah, it's lovely. I would suggest to her she took a couple of pears along with her in a rucksack. Yesterday we were talking about names, and someone was saying that he hoped that when he gets to heaven, he would be able to remember people's names, because it is a serious problem dealing with that. In fact, the whole forgetting thing, now that we are, as we so boringly keep saying, biblically dead,
Oh, yeah.
we are forgetting a lot of stuff.
We join the throng of people who go upstairs to get something, forget why they've gone upstairs, have to go downstairs again, try to remember what it was that they'd forgotten, and then by then they'd forgotten what it was they'd forgotten, and
It's
so on and so
difficult
on.
getting past those plumbers on the stairs as well, isn't it? Right. So here's a typical conversation talking about this spaghetti business between the Plasses. Bridget, who were you talking to on the phone earlier?
Oh yeah, no, no, name's gone. It was that girl from, from that place, the place before. Oh gosh, the place
Oh,
before.
you mean the place before Bromley?
No, I don't. It was the place before that. It was the place where we had the. You know, where we had to put up with all the...
Oh, no, I've got it. I've got it. Yeah, no, I know what you mean. You're talking about the girl who looks like, flipping heck, who's the woman we liked and then we didn't because she, what did she do? She did something. It was in all the papers. Oh, and you must remember, she was on that program.
Which program, Adrian?
Oh, come on, you know the program with the bit at the beginning that was set in. Where was it? Not Blackpool. The other one.
I know. I do know. It was the place where we stopped off to watch. Oh, for goodness sake! It was that film with that bloke who was tall. And he had something wrong with his left leg. I know. You always thought he looked exactly like the manager of
Bridget.
Yes.
Who were you talking to on the phone just now?
What? Oh, I haven't the faintest idea. Why do you ask?
I don't know.
It's interesting, really, because, as Adrian said, having reached the age we have, it's not too bad. Loads of people are like us, forgetting all sorts of things. But it is interesting how difficult it is to talk about something that may be huge to you, but other people might be able to cope with if only they knew about it. And we have a friend who taught me so much about this because she's dyslexic, but she was also a primary teacher. And the way she dealt with it was just wonderful. A child would say, "Miss, how do you spell whatever it was?" And she would say, "I don't know because I'm dyslexic, but I'll tell you what, let's sit down together and look through the dictionary and find out." Problem solved.
Yeah,
just needed that bit of courage at the beginning.
Yeah, she was brilliant, wasn't she? And the courage needed initially to face that problem and to turn it into something quite valuable.
Very valuable, because it not only dealt with the spellings, it also dealt with children who didn't know what dyslexia was and worried about it,
true.
and helped any that were.
Yeah, and I really admired that. And opening up is not easy. I mean, it's easy to say you just decide to do it and you're courageous. But I remember someone we met who told us about her house group. And she said, we've been together for years, and there's a kind of unspoken agreement that we're very close, we know each other. We're not in each other's pockets exactly, but we know each other so well. And she said one evening they met as usual, and a married couple who have been in the group for years said, "We've got something to announce." And they said, "I'm afraid we are getting divorced."
That's right. They didn't just say they were having problems.
No, not just having problems. It was all done and dusted.
Yeah.
They were getting divorced. And it was a very disabling shock for the group, because they had seriously thought that they were very close in that sense.
Yeah, they'd met and read the Bible, prayed together, as far as they were concerned, about all sorts of things, hadn't they?
This thing we're going to read to you now is sort of about that. It's two children talking about Sunday mornings, church, and their mum and dad.
Sunday is a funny day.
Yeah, it comes with lots of noise.
And Mummy rushes round with socks.
Daddy shouts, "You boys."
Then Mummy says, "Now don't blame them.
You know you're just as bad."
You've only just got out of bed."
Really makes me mad.
"My Mummy is a Christian."
My daddy is as well.
"My Mummy says, oh heavens."
My daddy does as well.
And when they get to church at last,
it's really very strange.
'Cause Mum and Dad stop arguing.
And suddenly they change.
At church, my Mum and Dad are friends.
They get on very well.
But no one knows they've had a row.
And we're not going to tell.
People often come to them.
Because they seem so nice.
And Mum and Dad are very pleased.
To give them some advice.
They tell them Christian freedom
is worth an awful lot.
But we don't know what freedom means.
If freedom's what they've got.
You see, Daddy loves the meetings.
Oh, he's always at them all.
He's learning how to understand.
The letters of St. Paul.
But Mummy says I'm stuck at home.
To lead my Christian life.
And it's just as well for blinking Paul.
He didn't have a wife.
We once heard our Mummy say...
she'd walk out of his life.
And we once heard Daddy say to her...
he picked a rotten wife.
Well, they really love each other.
Yeah, we really think they do.
But we think the people in the church...
would help them if they knew.
As some of you have probably picked up and some of you know very well, we're still very involved with Scargill House, and we have been for over 10 years. And one of the things about Scargill is they hope that it will be a place to say dangerous things.
A safe place
A
to
safe
say
place to
dangerous
say
things,
dangerous things. And it's
Yeah.
one of the things we hope for our churches.
Yeah.
And we know that there are many churches where you can, but we also know there's many churches where you can't.
No,
Many churches that aren't safe places.
It is sad. We meet a number of bewildered people who are very attracted to the Christian faith. That's what we know. We don't know about the other faiths, but they're very attracted to the Christian faith. And they try to be part of a group or a church. And because they are questioning people who want to actually know what is going on and what it means, they have found quite a resistance to the idea that you take things to pieces. And some of them have left, as I say, in bewilderment, because they really can't quite understand why they would want to question.
That's right.
And I suppose we've mentioned scaffolding before.
Yeah.
I suppose if the scaffolding of your group, your church, your faith, your attitude to God is flimsy, and if the building of faith and truth and love is a bit flimsy, you're not going to want that challenge. Now, some churches are brilliant. But I know this is just sometimes some of the people you'd really want to be involved get put off, and I think that's...
And sometimes
great
people
shame.
can look and think everybody else has sorted everything else out. Look, they all look so perfect. I'm not going to tell them that my marriage is falling to pieces or that I'm falling through the holes of my finances or anything else. I'd rather tell somebody who's not a Christian, who I don't think will judge me.
Yes, that's probably true, and maybe they're right about that sometimes. When you just want to be heard and listened to.
Well, I mean, obviously, you said about questions. There's loads of questions at the moment. The whole thing is question, isn't it? And we do live most of the time in a mystery. We don't understand things. We do not know, for example. We're talking about what we'd love to have in heaven. We'd love there to be a lathe for that person. We'd love there to be cricket for that person who's sitting next to me. We'd love there to be cartwheel corner and a choir and all the other things we've talked about. But we don't know. We don't know what's going to be in heaven.
We are very very good at diluting these terms. We often talk about it all being a mystery, and it has a sort of grandeur about that, a sort of positive feel about it. Yes, God is a mystery, heaven is a mystery, but there's something profound about that mystery.
Well, exactly.
And one of the things that I think you come to understand, or you think you understand, I think we understand, is that God is pretty weird. And by that I mean that the way he does things is not predictable. It never has been, and it never will be. Thank God.
His thoughts are simply not our thoughts.
They are not our thoughts, indeed.
No.
And some of the things that have happened to us, and we've been involved in, really demonstrate that, occasionally in very bizarre ways. Here is something that might illustrate that a little bit. It's quite interesting. We've been talking about dogs, and at Scargill, some time ago now, there was a death, and it was a very sad death. It was a dog, and it was a dog called Buddy, and he was beautiful.
He was very large.
He was so lovely. It was like a little pony coming up when he came up to the house.
Because he was a Great Dane, wasn't he?
He was what they call a blue Dane, I think. And someone said to me one day, "Do you think Buddy's in heaven. And I thought about that, and I thought, I haven't got an answer for that. I've got some of the answers I had when I was young. I knew exactly what everything was when I was young. But this is what I wrote then for Buddy, and it's not an answer, but maybe it's a direction. His head was as big as a shoebox, eyes like a curious child, feet spread like mops, slobbering chops. He was deaf to the call of the wild. There happened to be a big meeting in heaven the day Buddy died. From early to late, the ancient debate, should pets be permitted inside? Most angels said, no, they don't have a soul. The concept is wrong and absurd. A dozen or more were not quite so sure, but God sat and spoke not a word. At last God arose, and he said, I propose next month we'll continue to talk. But dusk is fast falling, the hillside is calling, and Buddy is needing a walk. I have no idea. I tell you what I do know, though, I think I know, is that love is never wasted.
That's right.
Love is a fuel, it's a currency, it's a power, and Buddy was loved and loves and loved others, and God won't waste that. What that means in the end, I have no idea, but I'm sure if he needs a walk, you'll get it. God bless Buddy and the memory of Buddy, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Bye-bye.
Bye.